afraid of. And I want to give you guys some examples of some simple things that people are doing with AI right now for fun and to make money as well, right? So there's different tools that you can use, but I recently went to a meetup for a company called Make.com. So I'll first start telling you guys about what you can do using a tool like Make, Make. Y'all know I got a South Carolina education. I got a Southern accent, so I had to spell it out in case you couldn't understand what I was saying. But for example, right, there are people that are building chatbots for CPAs inside of Make and then selling them for $8,000. Now, what does the chatbot do? What the chatbot does is somebody comes to, let's say, a CPA's website, and what I like about Make is that it's simple, right? Now, there's going to be a learning curve anytime you're doing something new, but compared to what's out there, it's super simple. And they actually also have an academy that's free. And in that free academy that's tied to the software, they show you how to make a lot of this stuff. So don't feel intimidated by it. A lot of it is just right click, type in what you want, drag there. You don't have to be a coder or anything crazy to do it, right? So what they're doing is they're creating chatbots for CPAs. And what the chatbot can do is actually have a AI conversation with a real person that lands on their site, and it's slowly but surely collecting information. And then on the back end, it's already filling out their tax form. So virtually, they can have a conversation, or just in the chat. You guys have all been to websites that had chat screens on it, but they're having a conversation with this chat bot about what they need, about this, about that. And then near the end, it will ask them, hey, are you comfortable sharing your EIN number or your social security number, or do you want to book a call with a CPA and then go over the rest of it there? And then some people, if they're okay with sharing it, it's all encrypted, of course, right? So if they're okay with sharing it, they can share it right there, and the chatbot can actually do their entire taxes. Now, of course, this is not for people that want itemized returns or want to do some super sexy stuff with their taxes. This is designed for people that have basic tax returns. You worked a 9-to-5 job all year long. This is how much you paid in. This is how much you're supposed to get back based off your deductions. The average person's tax return, right? So there's people that are building these drag and drop type automations and then selling them to CPAs. Now, I'm gonna be honest, in my humble opinion, if there was a way to lease them annually, just because I'm big on recurring revenue, I would probably try to do that. But I do understand too that leasing them annually would be less than $7,000-8,000. So maybe if you're somebody that just needs an influx of cash, you will build these automations, you'll sell them to CPAs, and then have the CPA use them to offset their manpower hours, right? So for example, I know a CPA that does a little over 300 clients a year, right? And for him, that's great money, but he does want to expand, but he doesn't necessarily want to hire a whole bunch more people in order to expand his company. So chatbots like this allow him to service people nationwide, and even if he doesn't get them all the way to file through the automated service, he gets them close enough to where all he has to do is a Zoom call or an in-person meetup if they want to come into the office with him, and just make them feel comfortable, get that last piece of information, file it, they're off to the races, right? So I share that with you because I recently went to an event that I found on meetup.com. I recommend you check it out in your area or nearby area, right? And that's where I met these individuals. It was absolutely free to go to the meetup. It was absolutely free to join the networking community that I'm in. But inside of these networking communities, you meet individuals that are doing things that you might have never even thought of before. So I think the most valuable thing in business is relationships. I call them strategic partnerships. So can you strategically partner with somebody, right? So that being said, how do you meet people that already have skill sets, relationships, money, things of that nature? Of course, we got to go out there, and meetup.com is a great resource that you can use in order to do that. Does that make sense? So that's the first thing I want to tell you guys about. And this guy does it for CPAs, for attorneys. He does it for a lot of different professionals. You guys know I always tell you, you know what, if you're going to do business with people that got money. Don't do business with broke people. Don't do business with cheap people. I'm not saying don't help them if you want to help them. I'm saying you don't got to. So go do business with people that will happily pay whatever it is that you charge. And then if you want to serve broke or cheap people, you can serve them for free and not have to go through a headache of trying to convince them why they should pay you $7,000 to $8,000 because it'll help them in XYZ way. Does that make sense? Morning, everybody. Is being an independent courier still worth it in 2025? It depends on what your goals are. So you guys know that years ago, I started my entrepreneurial journey as an independent courier, and I'm no longer an independent courier anymore. So I would say that if you want to make $40,000 to $75,000 a year with a business that doesn't require you to really know a lot about business, for sure, you could get in year one or year 1 through 3, scale your way up to that level. It is going to be labor intensive. It is going to cost you money. You got to have insurances, vehicles. Anytime you want to expand, that's new contractors or new workers. So it depends on your goals. I would say that as I became a more seasoned entrepreneur and started realizing what I wanted to do in business, it no longer made sense for me to do that. Because case in point, if I could make the same money on eBay as I could make as an independent courier, but I can have a third of the expenses, I actually make more money selling on eBay than being an independent courier. And then once I started looking into real estate, when I started looking into media, now as we look into softwares and investing in companies, it just doesn't make sense for what our goals are. That doesn't mean that it's a bad business. There's still people that's been trucking for 20, 30, 40 years and they still trucking. It just depends on what your goals are. So I would say as your goals change, then you might pivot. But yeah, without knowing your goals, I don't really know. All right, but you're looking for a simple business, no special licensing, just a regular driver's license, drive from point A to point B, then 100% you could do it. Morning, everybody. All right. So, yep, that's good. Better hurry up, gonna be late to your job at CVS, man. I'm trying my best to get there, man. You know I work in the pharmacy. I'm trying to get there, man. In time to get your grandma her high blood pressure medicine. I'm trying to get there for you, right? So let's go to the next thing, right? So you guys know that we have a private community, and Suno AI is an AI software tool that'll help you make AI music. In our private community, we talk about making money with AI, and right now we're focused on AI music. So private community, instead of just being all things AI, being very broad, being very vague, and either confusing somebody or creating an environment where people don't really get the most out of it, we are going to go through a lot of different things with AI, but we don't do it at the same time, so we focus on one at a time. So that being said, we're focused on AI music because AI music is the biggest opportunity that I've seen in a long time. I'm telling you guys, it used to be social media. Back when I first started on media, nobody was teaching people. Literally, there were 2 people, so I don't want to say nobody. Dr. Boyce Watkins, Jay Morris. I don't care how you feel about them, love them, hate them, indifferent. But the fact of the matter is that about 8, 9 years ago, if you wanted to see a black man talk about business, you had 2 options, and they were 2 biggest. Right now, since then, we got a gazillion more people on the platform, and they might make a gazillion more dollars than those brothers and just overall be liked by more people. But there was a time where all you had to do is know a little bit about business. You cut grass on the weekend, and make an extra $400-500 working on weekends, you could have came on social media and showed people how to make an extra $400-500 on the weekend cutting grass, and you could have built a 6 and 7 figure business just off of showing people that. Now, that's not impressive. Everybody has a different way to make money. Everybody is showing you, well, I got a faster way than this person. I got an easier way than that person. So now the asymmetric risk, as we call it, has deteriorated, right? And the reason why asymmetric risks are so important is because that's what high net worth individuals, high earning people, that's what they look for. So what's an asymmetric risk? An asymmetric risk is where can I put the least amount of money in. That doesn't mean a little bit of money, but relative to the upside, where can I put the least amount of money in and have a crazy upside? For example, $1 million in is not a lot of money if the upside is $100 million, right? The reason why I say that is because sometimes when people hear me talk about asymmetric risk, they be like, I got $30. Where's the opportunity to make $1 trillion off of $30, right? There is no such a risk, right? Now, I mean, you could go buy lottery tickets or do something dumb like that, but there's no real business savvy opportunity that has a level of risk in it that's going to give you that kind of potential return on investment. So what I see as a true asymmetric risk is AI music, because with social media being a thing, right? Do you know that you can make one song? Suno is like $100 a year. I don't own it or anything like that. I'm just being transparent with you. So Suno is like $100 a year. You could probably make 200 songs a month. I don't know anybody that makes that much music, but I'm just saying that's the capabilities of the software. If you make 200 songs a month for 12 months with a commitment that I'm going to get better and better every song that I make, I'm going to research more, I'm going to try better prompts, I'm going to do this, do that, and I'm going to commit to being better and better every single song, right? Eventually, you're going to have a great song. Do you know that then you can use distributors like CD Baby, like DistroKid? You could Google others and see which ones fit your budget and your needs. And now your music is available everywhere. If your music catches on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, right? Now you can make 10 times as much money as people that have been on the platform creating content for years. Ask me how I know, right? Because I did a video where I documented it from start to finish. Here's the entire process of how to make AI music that sounds realistic using Suno AI. And because I didn't hold anything back, there was no, oh, you got to pay money to learn more, right? The music played inside of the video. I posted the video, right? But I also distributed the music through all distributors. Well, through all platforms using a distributor, correction. All right, so of course, that video got copywritten on the YouTube ad side, meaning that I wasn't going to get any YouTube ad revenue off of it. In case you didn't know, YouTubers get paid based off you watching the videos, whether you hate them, love them, troll in the comment section, or praise their name. Like, you watching the video, you pay them with your eyeballs, right? So attention equals dollars in the media economy. That's why I love media, because people can make millions of dollars in media without ever selling anything. So when you hear people talk about, oh man, I did this, I did that, and I'm not gonna front you, right? I was the same way. When I was seeing people be like, oh, this little kid on YouTube made $20 million. I was like, ain't no little kid on YouTube made no $20 million when I'm a grown man that get up and go to work every single day, 40 hours a week, back when I had a job, right? And I don't even make a tenth of $22 million a year, right? And then I realized, like, okay, how are they making money? What's the ways they're making money? How is their money compounding through the media asset? And then it's like, oh, okay, you can't help but get rich if you learn the media business and you do it consistently, right? I got another AI artist I'm about to drop them. Drop them, right? $30 a trade. Yep, absolutely. No such risk, right? No such risk. All right, boom. So, but believe it or not, man, that's what people want though. Getting back to the risk, right? People, and I don't know what caused this, but the reality of the matter is that there's a standard that if you meet the standard, you're successful. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, if you're Republican, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're something else. So there is a standard in financial success that if you meet the standard, you'll get there. Now, how long it takes you to meet the standard is personal choice, whether you're willing to make the sacrifices, learn what you got to learn, consistently do what you got to do. That's different person to person. So how long it takes you to make whatever amount of money you want to make is different person to person. That's why several people can read the same book. One person can get nothing out of it. One person can make $100,000 off of it. The other person can become a millionaire off of it because the fundamentals are universal in business. All right, which is why there can be somebody that makes millions of dollars in franchising. Somebody else can make $1 million in e-commerce on Shopify or selling their own products. Somebody else can make $1 million in real estate. Somebody else can make $1 million day trading, right? And why is it that you can see different people all make a lot of money doing stuff totally different? Is because that there's some uniformity in their belief system, and everything sprouts from your identity. But there's so many people out here that's looking for, hey, what's the magic pill? What's the guaranteed business that will make me $1 million, that they waste so much time looking for the magic bean instead of just figuring out what identity do I have to master? Who do I have to become to inevitably do the thing? Because if you change your identity, the money is going to come. I don't worry about, now I'm not going to say I was always like this. I used to say, hey, I wonder how long I could be an entrepreneur. When I was early in business, when I first started, I wasn't even on social media. I was saying, man, okay, I wonder how long is this going to last? How long can I make money before I got to go back and get a real job? So let me try to enjoy it while it lasts. Let me try to make a lot of money, do a lot of cool stuff and have fun, because I know eventually I'm going to have to go back and find a real job, right? But then as I continued to grow in business and network, I started running into people that said they never had a job before and they were in their 40s. They were entrepreneurs from high school all the way till now, no intention of ever punching a clock, right? So running into people that like, they've been in business 20 years, 10 years, all of this. And I'm like, wait a minute, do you mean that I could become a business owner and I could stay a business owner the rest of my life? But I thought business was too risky. I thought business was a scam. I thought business was expensive. I had all of these negative thoughts as to why I personally couldn't make a lot of money in business, couldn't have longevity in business. And I was shocked when I kind of stumbled across these people and realized like these people were in business and they were like, yeah, like they're not worried about, am I going to make enough money by the first to pay my bills? And I said, well, okay, they're human, I'm human. What is it that they know? What is it that they do consistently that either I don't know or I don't do consistently? And once I learned those things and applied those things, I realized that anybody can do it, right? Now, anybody is different from everybody because anybody that makes the identity shift can do it. Everybody's not going to make the identity shift, right? Does that make sense? So I want you all to know that if you're trying to find success in anything, it starts with who you are. Do you think that you got to have better credit before you could make 6 or 7 figures? Do you think that you got to know more information? Do you think that you need a bigger network of people? All of these things can be contributing factors, but when I was broke and homeless, I started saying I was a millionaire. I was sleeping on the side of Interstate 95. And I was like, I'm a millionaire, man. I'm a millionaire. Now, my bank account can't validate that, but I'm a millionaire. I'm homeless on the side of a major interstate, but I'm a millionaire, right? I got to put towels, right? I would drop the visor, hang a towel here and close it So that way I would cover the whole front windshield because I was sleeping in a vehicle that wasn't even mine. I would do the same thing with the window. I would crack it down, right? And I would hang piece of a towel there, and then I would roll it up so it'll hold it, and that would be my curtains for the night. And that's how I slept for months on the side of the interstate in a car that I had lied to somebody and said, hey, look, I want to rent your cargo van. I'll pay you on Friday, right? Because I didn't have anywhere else to stay. They agreed to it, and I had to figure out every week how I was going to make enough money to pay them on Friday, plus make enough money to take care of myself and eventually work my way out of that, right? And in that state, what most people will call the lowest, most defeated state, I said I'm a millionaire. And I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't happen overnight. This was 2017, right? I was rebuilding my business. 2019, I made my first $1 million. Do you know that the average person, if they saw you go from broke and homeless to, okay, now you got an apartment, but you still struggling, but you constantly are telling yourself, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I know I'm going to make millions of dollars, right? I know it. I know it. Hey, I don't have everything yet, but I'm going to get it. It's inevitable, right? And because I believed making millions of dollars was inevitable, guess what? It wasn't a big risk when I had to say, okay, you know what? I need to figure out how to make more money because I need a mentor. I need to figure out how to make more money because I need to hire people. I need to figure out how to make more money, this investment or that investment, right? I wasn't afraid to do it. It wasn't a big risk because I felt like this is who I am. Think about this, right? For many of us, we bought at least a home, right? So if you feel like you're supposed to have a house, right? While it might be a little bit of anxiety around it about, oh man, I'm going to sign up for hundreds of thousands of dollars or X amount of payment per month, right? While there might be some reservation there, right? Because you believe you're supposed to live in a house, what do? You still inevitably do whatever it takes to guarantee that you can get that house and you can move in the house. Then because there's something in psychology known as identity bias, once we get in the house, right, then we do everything we can to keep the house, the average person, right, because we see ourselves as a homeowner. We're not a renter. We don't stay in trailers. We don't stay in apartments. We don't stay in Winnebagos. We don't stay on the side of the street, right? Because we're homeowners, we now, that same anxiety that we had about signing on the dotted line for that $700,000 house and paying X amount of money a month for it, now this is just who we are. I say that because in business, it's the same way. Once you change your identity and say, becoming a millionaire is who I am, making six figures a year is who I am, there might be some reservations. There might be some anxiety. Same way when it was when you bought your house. Same way when it was when you had your first kid, but you knew you wanted to have kids, right? You are going to become the person that says, in spite of the anxiety, this is who I am. I'm a parent. I'm a homeowner. I own my own car. I do this. I do that, right? So you have to change your belief system, right? Once that belief system changes, it becomes inevitable. Here's how I know that, and I'm going to close with this, right? If you guys want to know tactical ways that we make money with AI, or if you want to just see the back end of how I run all of my businesses, go ahead and join our private community. You guys may have noticed that I removed a lot of my videos off of YouTube. I'm going to do a dedicated video explaining exactly why, but YouTube has changed over the 8 years that I've been on the platform, and now they no longer want people to make dedicated how to make money videos, right? So it's not happening to everybody at once. So to be proactive, I just went ahead and got ahead of it. I know some people that have millions of subscribers that are already dealing with complications because of that. I know people that are smaller than me with followers that are dealing with complications with that. So just to get ahead of the curve, I already made that change. So now in our private community, what we do is that's where we have reallocated all of our how-tos, all of our instructionals, all of that, right? So if you want to know tactical, tangible ways, and specifically how to make money with AI music, how to take something that should have made you $40 and make $400 out of it, or take something that should have made you $400 and make $4,000 out of it, then you can, right? In the last month, just so you can know before you make that educated decision if this is for you, in the last month, I've made around $11,000 off of AI music. Now, $11,000 for some of you all is not enough money for you to write home to mom about, but AI music is not the only thing that I do. You guys know I own a media company, I own real estate, I own stocks, I have equity in businesses, I have strategic partnerships, right? So AI music was like a new little hobby of mine that I was like, this seems pretty cool. And then boom, we made $11,000 off of our little hobby. And we said, you know what? I'm going to share this with other people and show them maybe they don't know what I know because you haven't been in business for 11 plus years. Doesn't mean I'm better than you. It just means that I bumped my head enough times to know the right way to navigate this space. So if you want to see how to navigate this space without bumping your head a bunch of times to figure it out on your own, right? I want you all to really like consider joining. It's called the Faceless Hitmakers Academy tier if you want to know the AI music. We have lower tiers if you just want to see the back end of what we do in our business, but it's a lot of great information and I want you guys to check it out as well, right? So if you want to change your identity, all the data says the number one thing beyond your education, beyond your upbringing, beyond your current socioeconomic environment is your environment. Now, I do know not everybody can pick up and move to a subdivision that has 3 million, 5 million, $2 million houses, right? I get it. That's not realistic for the average person. However, you can change your virtual environment. So that's why I've curated these rooms and I'm going to weekly, right? Sometimes daily, but at least weekly, I'm going to start pouring into those of you all that are in the community. I'm answering questions. I'm going live. We're showcasing people's music, business, all of that stuff, and we're helping each other. And it's a community, not a mentorship, right? We do have a mentorship, but our mentorship is closed for the year. We did our last mentorship call last week on Thursday and got our last people in our mentorship. We're not doing any more mentorship in 2025. Reason being is because I want to make sure I get all of the mentees that are already in the best results possible. And then we'll open it up once I have a lot of them up and running, making a bunch of money, going to do their own thing, right? So I want you all to start getting in communities, getting in environments where people think differently than you, right? Because with love, your family members care about you, but I can't ask my mom about money. Your friends from high school that you still locked in with, your friends from college that you still locked in with, they love you, but at the same token, right, they may not know about money. You need to get around people, like I told you guys in the beginning, and I'll end the same way that I began, right? I joined this community, and now I'm around people that build automation tools for fun. They build softwares for fun. They build businesses for fun. They go raise $8 million out of Silicon Valley for fun, right? And in my mind, I'm like, I can't even imagine where do you even start, right? Where do you even start to raise $8 million in 90 days for your business idea? I come from a world where you have to like have something built. You got to have some sort of proof of concept. Ain't nobody giving you $1 for no idea, right? Your ideas is worth nothing without any kind of proof of concept, right? But people from the tech world, people from the software world are like, yo, hey, in tech, in software, it's a little bit different, right? Yes, in traditional business, it works like this, and maybe one day in tech, it'll be like that, but right now, here's what it is, right? So that being said, get in these environments around people that think better than you, think higher than you, right? Get around people that like, hey, you think $10,000 is a lot of money. They have a business that they created as a hobby that makes them 10 grand a month, right? One conversation I had with a gentleman in the group, he was like, hey, do you take corporate clients? I was like, man, I'm open to take any kind of clients. I've never worked with like a corporate, client, but I've worked with different small businesses and I work with a lot of individuals, help them make a lot of money. But like a tech corporation, no, I have never worked with them, but I will work with them. He was like, hey, I got a pool of around 27 or so companies that I want you to consider working with. Their budget to pay you is around $100,000 each. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Right? If you could get into a room and tell somebody something that you do and you having small talk. You're not pitching them. You're not trying to persuade them to buy your ebook, buy your course, buy whatever. It's like, hey, man, how you doing? My name's JT. Hey, my name is John Doe. Hey, what do you do, John? Oh, I do this. Hey, what do you do, JT? Oh, I do this. Hey, do you work with corporate clients? I can. I never have. Hey, I think I got some corporate clients that probably, if you're open to it, can work with them. They got a budget of around $100,000 each to pay for services like yours. Are you open to at least having a conversation? Doesn't mean that you'll say yes, because just because you offer the service doesn't mean that it's a good fit. Because they might say, we want you to work 7 days a week, 20 hours a day, doing XYZ that you're good at, right? So I don't care how good you are at washing cars, right? You don't want to wash cars 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. So depending on what they need in the terms of it, maybe it's a good opportunity, maybe it's not. Maybe out of 27, 29 or so companies, maybe you say, well, only 3 of these companies really are a good fit for me. I'm a good fit for them based off of what they want and what I'm willing to do, right? And that being said, instead of getting 2.9 million, you get 300,000. But that's 300,000 on top of whatever you was making, right? So on top of the beans you was making already, now put 300,000 on top of that, right? And that comes for straight up conversations, right? Straight up conversations. I met these people for absolutely free on meetup.com. There's different meetups in different areas, so I'm not telling you that you're going to find a meetup in your area this week and somebody's going to offer you a 2-point-something million dollar contract, but I'm telling you that because I've already became the person, right? I'm going to own $100 million business, right? Whether everybody believes me or nobody believes me, right? Whether everybody buys from me or nobody on this live ever buys anything from me, I'm still going to do that because that's who I am. I'm a long way from $100 million, right? I'm either further away from $1 billion, but I can tell you what, hey, with over $1 million worth of real estate, right? A really nice stock portfolio, a really nice business portfolio, I ain't worried about sleeping on the side of Interstate 95 no more either, right? So if you want to get around people that are constantly trying to improve themselves, not for my own personal gain, can I keep it a buck with you, right? I'm going to buy a luxury car, a supercar, a hypercar, whatever, for y'all. Maybe not you literally that's hearing this, but I'm going to be a buck with you. I had every car I wanted when I was in college. I've been getting money a long time. So I had multiples of the same cars in college. College, I had 4 cars at a time, right? I was flipping cars on Craigslist, making different money, $7,000, $14,000, on top of working a couple of jobs, had a little military money coming in from my GI Bill as well. So I was getting money a long time. I done had every car I wanted. I get reliable cars because I burn the road up. I'm going to go get a hypercar, a supercar, because part of my mission, part of my sincere goal, part of my calling is I want to serve the maximum number of people. There's some people that believe that you're not successful, then you know what? You got to have a car. You got to have a house. Right now, I got a 3-story house with an art gallery on the 3rd floor. Most of y'all have never seen it, right? Because I'm not here to tell you, oh, look, I got a 3-story house. I got an art gallery on the 3rd floor. I got $50,000 worth of art. I got another $50,000 worth of art being commissioned. I got art where the artist crushed diamonds, mixed it with the paint, and now paints diamonds. So you get a diamond certificate as well as a certificate of authenticity with the art. And I can have this art in my private art collection, which I do, or I could go to museums and I could lease it out to them. But I'm like, yo, I don't care if you win with me or just off my free information. I want you to win, but I do understand, as somebody that's been in business since 2014, but got into social media in 2017, some of you all not going to believe that JT can help you make money. Even with his free information, you're not going to go act on that because I ain't show you my Lamborghini. I show you $1 million worth of real estate, you like, oh, that's like some regular houses, right? Because you don't even know, if I go buy mansions, right? I got 8 properties. If I went out and bought 8 mansions, instead of buying 8 single family, middle class homes is harder to monetize. Think about how big the pool of people are that will rent out 8 mansions versus the pool of people that will rent out 8 single family homes. If I get a 3-2, right, 2,500 square feet, maybe even smaller than that, not everybody even cares about that, right? Average family will rent that out, lease that out every day, no vacancies, killing it. If I go get a 9,000 square foot, 6 bedroom, 5 bath home, what's the pool of people like for that? What's the pool of people like for that? So, but people will say because you don't have all of this, you ain't really got no money, because they don't even know business. Why would I put my money in assets that are hard to liquidate? Why am I choose to make money hard when I don't even have to? It's way easier for me to buy up this whole neighborhood. All of these, I could buy this whole street of houses. I could lease out this whole street and have monthly cash flow coming in. I could put them on Airbnb and have weekly checks coming in. I can go buy up the gated community and have people come in here and there. So it depends on how you want your money. So you want big checks sporadically, or you want medium checks consistently? And because I invest in real estate for retirement, I would rather have, when I'm 100 years old, I'd rather have consistency. And as I build a portfolio up, of course, that'll build up to a big check. But when I'm 100 years old, I don't want to wait 3 months, 2 months, 4 months for somebody to give me $20,000 to rent out my mansion. I'm perfectly fine with that $2,000 a month coming from those 30 houses that I have. I'm getting $2,000 a door off 30 houses, and every month I'm getting a check. Plus I got equity and other stuff. So that being said, join the private community if you really want to be around some people that get some money, or wait till I get whatever supercar I get, and then you can believe me then. And then the prices are going to go up, because I'm going to make everybody that didn't believe pay for the supercar because they waited too late to jump on the bandwagon. All right, so hey, if you that shallow, you will have to pay for it. Peace.